Thanks for tuning in to the Justin Henry Show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, join in on the conversation, and follow on all social media platforms. What's good? What's good? It's your boy Justin Henry here live on the Justin Henry Show. Today is Tuesday, September 19th, baby. We're in the building talking buy low, sell high. It's week 3 edition, and yes, this is the time to obviously not panic. We talk about not panicking on this, so I've got a bunch of players. I'll talk about if I think they're a buy low, if it's a sell, what you should be doing with these players. Guys, if you have not followed the page or sub to the page, make sure you guys follow and sub. If you guys have questions about waiver wires, I drop my waiver wire picks on TikTok already and here on the YouTube channel, so make sure you guys check it out. We will have start and sit, full start and sit tomorrow. And if you guys are here watching for the first time, I will actually be gone Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for content. So normally I know y'all trust me for stuff. So whatever questions you guys have before Sunday's games, try to get them in tomorrow. I'll be on vacay with the wife. It's my 10-year anniversary with her. So today, though, we're going to get into buy low, sell high candidates. Already a question coming in. Appreciate the super chat. B said, I'm picking up Hunt just in case. Kareem Hunt is visiting the Cleveland Browns. So I know there's a lot of Jerome Ford talk. What do we do with Jerome Ford? Is he the pickup? I know there's a lot going on. Obviously, Nick Chubb, RIP to Nick Chubb in fantasy, man. It sucks to see that young man going down, man. And hopefully he's able to get back on the field, but that definitely looked like a career ender right there, man, especially knowing what he's gone through already. So prayers up for Nick Chubb, man. Hopefully he recovers. It'd be great to see him back on the football field, but I just want to see him walking around normal, like a normal person, bro. So for me, yes, Kareem Hunt is a pickup tonight. I'll talk a little bit more about some free agency pickups, but I would definitely be in on Kareem Hunt given the circumstances there in New York, the Ravens. Like, there's a lot of places I think Kareem Hunt can help. If it's going to happen, it's got to happen this week, in my opinion. TikTok was good. Isaac was popping. He said, what's going, brother? Aiden was good. Aiden, thank you. Appreciate you, dog. Yes, sir. It'll be on Thursday, 21st of September. Do you remember the 21st night of September? That's me. That's me. So we did it on that day. Yes, I need Hunt to get dinged. Signed. Yes, we need to get signed, not dinged. Yo, YouTube, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, y'all? I see the comments. Let me get through a few of them. Najee been going up against some tough defense. I talked about Najee. I still think he's a buy low candidate. Like, tough defense is 100%. He needs to play a little bit better. But at the Steeler team, the offense hasn't been clicking yet. So I'm not all like, I made a little fun post about Najee Harris on the page, but I'm not on Najee Harris at all. 21st of September is my birthday. Let's go. Hey, fantasy gods will bless you. Niners play that night too. Niners Giants should be a fun one. Trade Cooper for Aaron Jones. That's a wash to me. Like, you're getting wide receiver 2-ish for RB 2-ish value. So I would rather, given the running back circumstances, I think I'd almost rather have a good running back right now. The only thing is the injuries, right? Like, the running backs are such an injury risk. We're finding that out again. Like last year we had pretty good health for running backs, right? Like, a lot of the top running backs maintain health. This year it's been devastating already. I got Burrow. Okay, should I make a trade? Malcolm asked me this on a TikTok the comments of a YouTube video. I'll try to get to this one, Malcolm. This is a little, these ones are a little harder for me to just go through with all the questions coming in. Puka, Aaron Jones, and Gainwell for Puka. No, just keep Aaron Jones, homie. Keep Aaron Jones. I'm a Niner fan, so it's a big day this Thursday. Yes, we need to get back to the Giants. Traded Addison for Hunter Henry. Yeah, I would have got more with Addison's value right now. Would you trade him? Would you trade M and McLaurin for Ramondre? Who is M? I don't know who M is. M. I don't know who M is. I can't figure it out. Good trades, DJ Moore. And are we panicking on Najee? No, we giving Najee one more week. And I would not trade Najee and for that combo. Thoughts on Hollywood Brown as a flex? Hollywood Brown's I'd say a good flex in like 14-man leagues, 12-man leagues. But I don't think he carries a whole lot of upside till Kyler Murray gets back. Jerome Ford, a priority pickup. So let's talk about Jerome real quick before I get into my buy lows. Jerome Ford, yes, I'd spend like 20% on the budget on him. Even if Kareem Hunt signs, I think initially this will be where they give the ball to Jerome Ford. He earned a lot of that this offseason in a key piece. Why they let Kareem Hunt go. So I think they might be looking for a tandem. That's why they traded for Pierre Strong in the preseason. I don't think it's going to be a complete over where Jerome Ford's getting the full workload like he did last night after Nick Chubb got hurt. So I think he's a priority pickup. I'd spend maybe like 20 to 25% budget if you absolutely needed a running back. But if Kareem Hunt does sign, it's a slight ding down. So just be careful with that. We drafted Craig Reynolds. I'm not in on Craig Reynolds. If you want to, go ahead. I know he had a little bit of value last year, and obviously Jahmyr Gibbs is a rookie, still needs a little bit of time to develop. So I'm not all the way in on Jerome Ford. I'm sorry, on Craig Reynolds right now. Waddle and Dotson for Devontae. Go get Devontae Adams. I love that deal. Consolidation. I traded Stevenson and Ayuk for A.J. Brown and Dameon Pierce. Stevenson and Ayuk for A.J. Brown and Pierce. I think that's a decent deal. I think it's a decent deal getting an elite wide receiver. And then, yeah, I think it's a decent deal. I'd be trying to move Pierce if I were you. Move Pierce. Do I use an early priority pickup on Tank Dell or Devontae Parker if I can't get Jerome Ford? I wouldn't really use an early priority pickup on Tank Dell. I talked about Tank Dell. I think he has some floor and ceiling, right? Weekly ceiling, but he's more of a flex appeal. He's going to be an inconsistent flex all year long, right? You're going to be like, do I start Tank Dell? Do I not? 4 catches for 50 yards one game, 5 catches for 60 and a touchdown the next. Inconsistent wide receiver 3 flex. I don't see a lot of blow-up games on the agenda for him. Devontae Parker is just too tough to trust. Trade Cooper and Gabe Davis for A.J. Brown. Yes, send both of those guys for A.J. Brown. Go get AJB. Let's do buy low real quick. Buy low, sell high, and then I'll get into more comments. I see them all here, guys. I'm going to try to get to a lot today. I'm going to stick around and get to a lot today, all right? Buy low, sell high. First name on the list, Jamar Chase. I don't care if Joe Burrow is out. This is an opportune time to go feel out. Where is everybody on Jamar Chase, right? Jamar Chase likely was the first pick for whoever got him, either early, like top 3 picks. Some even took him at the 1. And it's okay if you did, right? Like, I wouldn't panic on the value of where you took him. You took him thinking there was going to be an uptick in production. There hasn't been so far. Joe Burrow potentially out on Monday with an injury. It's okay. It's okay. We have a long season ahead, right? Joe Burrow's going to be back at some point to full capacity, whether it's in 2-3 weeks, hopefully, right? Hopefully it's not a true re-aggravation. I think this team gives him a little bit of time to get right. Jamar Chase has not always needed a quarterback to play to be perfect, right? Even when weeks where Joe Burrow doesn't throw maybe downfield as much, Jamar Chase is huge after the catch. So his volume isn't likely to just take this steep decline. I think Jamar Chase is a buy low candidate. I wouldn't pay wide receiver 1, 2, 3 prices for him. But if I could get him for like a Puka Nacua and if I could get him for a Brandon Ayuk and if I could get him for a Keenan Allen and I'd be all over a Jamar Chase deal right now, getting an elite wide receiver at very discount prices. Next up, A.J. Brown, same thing. A.J. Brown, same thing. This trade right here is pretty much a clear indicator that people are down on A.J. Brown right now. A.J. Brown has a history of being a wide receiver 1, a very clear history of being elite level talent. So for a trade like Amari Cooper and Gabe Davis to consolidate and get a receiver like A.J. Brown, I would 1,000% be on a deal like that. So if you have A.J. Brown, stick to your guns. Hold a little bit longer, right? This is an elite player. Now, week 6 comes and we still haven't seen any kind of production out of A.J. Brown. That's the time where you're like, you know what? All right, I got to treat him as a wide receiver 2. Maybe I'll get rid of him. But you're not selling a guy like A.J. Brown for wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 range after 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks. And if anybody's telling you to panic on A.J. Brown, they're doing it wrong. This isn't a pecking order thing. I think people are looking at like the Niners scenario when they're saying Ayuk's taking over as the wide receiver 1. Debo's now the wide receiver 2. For us as fantasy players, we might want to categorize people as the 1 or the 2, but coaches don't do that. Coaches look at game plans. Coaches look at scripts. Quarterbacks are throwing to who's open. A lot of times the difference between a wide receiver 1 and 2 isn't that much of a difference. We're not doing that in Cincinnati with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Why are we doing that with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith? It's been 2 games. It's been 2 games. This team traded for A.J. Brown and showed last year he was the one. He was a drop away from a 40-yard touchdown. He had another touchdown that was broken up by P.I. The plays are coming for A.J. Brown. Don't panic on him. If you're watching the game, you know he's going to get involved and he wants to be involved. A.J. Brown is a buy low candidate right now. Buy low. He's not a sell. Next up, 2 people I would be trying to buy low on right now. You may not be able to, but for different reasons. Jonathan Taylor was supposed to pass his physical last week. I'm not sure if that has been actually done or not. I need to do more homework on that. But Jonathan Taylor is a clear buy low right now. In a world where fantasy football running backs are clearly being hurt right now, the options are slim. We got Dameon Pierce and Najee Harris. averaging 2 yards a carry. We got Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb out for extended periods of time. Austin Eckler. We need running backs. So I'd be looking to get running backs that maybe people aren't thinking about right now. Throw an offer out as an RB2 for Jonathan Taylor. Like, treat him as an RB2. When Jonathan Taylor comes in, he's still going to be a top 10 running back in fantasy. When he comes back, that points per game, at minimum, he's a top 10 running back in fantasy. Pair that up with what Anthony Richardson's doing right now. We know he's a home run hitter. There's going to be a lot of clean holes for Jonathan Taylor to run through if he's still the Colts come week 5. If he's still on the Colts come week 5, he's a starter. It's not Zach Moss. So be careful with Zach Moss on free agency. I know I talked about free agent running backs for waiver wires. Be careful with Zach Moss because there's a world where Jonathan Taylor comes back week 5 and Zach Moss is a clear backup. But for Jonathan Taylor, I'd be trying to trade for him right now as, like, if I could get RB2 value, if I could give up RB2 value to get Jonathan Taylor, I'd do it. I'd do it in an instant. Next up, Alvin Kamara. Jamal Williams expected to be on the shelf for a little bit. He's dealing with the injury. The only healthy back right now is Tony Jones. Tony Jones, yet again, here we are with Tony Jones. He's the only healthy back right now. I think he had 2 touchdowns yesterday in the game. I'm not interested at all in Tony Jones. Alvin Kamara back after next week. If you can get him right now, remember, this is a top 12 guy too. Remember that, right? I know it's easy to say, oh, he was drafted in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. This is a top 12 guy when he plays. So go get Alvin Kamara right now. If I can get him at RB2 range or trade one of these one of the guys that's been playing really well lately, I would do that as well. So another name, Alvin Kamara, if you can go get him. I also think one of the biggest buy lows that not a lot of other people are going to talk about. One of the other buy lows that not a lot of people are going to talk about. And it's Jackson Smith-Njigba. This is a name. I got a post coming out later on this. This is a name I think you need to buy right now. He hasn't proven that he can have that wide receiver 1 week, right? Or that wide receiver 2 even week. He's been like 5 catches for 40 yards and 6 targets a game. That's 6 targets a game, and he's been playing with the brace on his arm. No deep shots yet for Jackson Smith-Njigba, and we saw it all offseason with him. This is a player I would be targeting right now as a wide receiver 4. If I had Jordan Addison, if I had Zay Flowers, I would be asking for JSN and maybe a little bit more, depending on your league, right, and how they trade. Like, Jordan Addison should be able to fetch you JSN and another player. I would be very active in trying to get JSN this week. And you better, before this post go out, this is a player I think will have a blow-up week this week. This is a player I think is going to blow up. If it's not this week, it's very soon. Very soon. If I miss this week, I miss this week. I think it's coming very soon. I think it's coming this week. There will be some shot plays for JSN coming very soon. Another player I think that we've talked about, right? Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is a player I'd be in on, especially with the David Montgomery injury. I know we haven't seen that true ceiling from him yet, and he did look kind of like a rookie last week. I'm not going to lie. Like, in the game, some of those carries, he was making some rookie moves, right? Like, the way he was maneuvering didn't look like he was fully confident in his skill set. That's coming. He's not moving like Bijan yet, but Jahmyr Gibbs was drafted at 12 overall to have that explosive nature. They're still getting him involved in the passing game. I like the potential here. Especially we're so early in the offseason. So if somebody in your league is like, man, Jahmyr Gibbs isn't giving me what I'm expecting, go try to trade for him as an RB2. Go try. At least put in an offer. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But he's a player I'd be in on, like, at least throwing an offer out on. And then the last player I would call a buy low, even though I'll get into some sell highs here. I'll answer questions and then go to sell highs. The last player I would call a buy low, but not at the value that you probably think, it's Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs to me is a buy low, but not as a high-end elite RB1. That's what he finished last year. If I could buy low and on the panic right now, because somebody's probably selling on Josh Jacobs as like a back-end RB2, right? Like, you're probably like, man, I got Josh Jacobs. He hasn't been performing. I drafted him early. A lot of times that's people play with their emotions. I'm 0-2. He's not giving me what I expected. This is a player you can go buy in and just have him as an RB2 candidate. Like, chances are your running backs, you have one running back that's probably hurt at some point or underproducing. And this is a guy, if I had a receiver that was, a Jordan Addison type, if I had a receiver that was performing over expectations that I had as like my 4th receiver or my 5th receiver, I would be looking at this as a possibility. Like, how could I go get Josh Jacobs? with a piece that seems like they're overperforming. That's how I would approach Josh Jacobs. If I had a DeAndre Swift, I'd say, you know what? Josh Jacobs owner, what you doing? This is a player I would be trying to target at high-end RB2 value. That's the valuation. Maybe back-end RB1 if you want to get froggier in a deeper league. But that's the valuation that I would put on him. So use DeAndre Swift to do that. You know, another player I would use to go get Josh Jacobs, Brian Robinson. By Brian Robinson, I'd be going to the person with Josh Jacobs, the person with Najee Harris, the person with Mixon, and I'm saying, hey, let's get a deal done. All right. So those are players that I would be trying to buy low on right now. Let me get to some questions, and then I'll go back into some sell high candidates in just a second. Someone wants to trade me MT and James Cook for AJ Brown. Do it. Go get AJ Brown. These are the kind of deals that I'm talking about. Go get AJ Brown. 2 hours in, and I'm the 15th comment. Yo, the comments are rolling right now. Growth is crazy. Jamal Williams and Brandon Cook droppable. And 10-man, I think they're in 10-man, you're droppable. Both of them an injury. And if there's no trade interest, go ahead and get some players that can help you out right now. Should I drop Freiermuth or Kmet for Hunter Henry? I'd be cool with Kmet. Kmet's a matchup play only. Freiermuth has a little bit more value to me if the Steelers offense can get clicking. I'm a little concerned with Najee. Do I drop Dalvin Cook for someone like Ty Chandler? I'd rather have Dalvin Cook than Ty Chandler. But Ty Chandler, I should have added him into the pickups of the week video that I did. I should have added him, and I didn't. Ty Chandler is definitely a pickup. I forgot to add him in there. Damn it. And B-ball player, thank you for mentioning that. Ty Chandler is a player I'd be interested in 12 team leagues or deeper. Ty Chandler's a pickup this week. You can zero bid him, zero bid or $1. Ty Chandler in the next 2-3 weeks will probably have some value. So it's a little early to get him, but I'd rather be a week early with a guy like Ty Chandler, because if he sees half of the carries next week, even a 30 to 40% snap share for Ty Chandler, you're not going to be able to get him on free agency. So before Sunday's game, if you go through waivers, go through pickups before Sunday's game, just make sure Ty Chandler's on the back of your roster if you have somebody else's droppable. I would keep Dalvin Cook, though. What's good? Appreciate the new subs here on the channel. I got you. Carrillo, you already know I got you. Evans for Brees is that's paying too much. Evans is a top 15 to 20 wide receiver. Traded Addison for Henry. Yeah, I don't love that move. Give Addison and Sanders for Cooper Kupp. Yes, send both of those guys. Miles Sanders and Jordan Addison for Cooper Kupp, 1,000%. If Cooper Kupp doesn't play the rest of the year, that's still a win. Even if he doesn't play, that's great value and upside to have for giving up Addison and Miles Sanders. You think Chase is worth going for? Absolutely. What are your thoughts on Puka? Thinking about keeping him? If Cooper Kupp comes back, his value is going to be an inconsistent flex over the course of the season. So right now you can get wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 value for Puka. If I had Puka, this is how I play it. Hold on, I'll get to your question, Reed. If I had Puka, the way I would play it is this. I would be putting whoever had Jamar Chase, whoever had AJ Brown, whoever has Cooper Kupp, I'm going to all 3 of those and sending Puka. Whatever happens, happens. I'm sending offers to all 3 of those managers, all 3 of them. Puka with another small piece. Puka by himself. If you know your league and your league will trade, I'm sending Puka Nacua in trades for Jamar Chase, AJ Brown. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I'm sending those deals out. I don't care. Those are deals I'm sending out. I traded Kyron Williams and Calvin Ridley for CeeDee Lamb and Brees Hall. Good job. Now I got Jalen Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, AJ Brown. Bro, Reed, you've been watching or no? This is what I'm talking about. When you have talent like that, Kyron Williams, Calvin Ridley, and they're playing at ceiling, you go trade for floor. This is perfect. Brees Hall, CeeDee Lamb carry much more upside than both of those on a weekly basis. This is the kind of trade I'm talking about. Good job. And no, just keep CeeDee Lamb. You don't need to trade him for Derrick Henry. Good job. Very good job. Geno or Dak, we talking long-term, or it's Geno? Geno right now. Till we see something more out of Dak. Let's see, guys. I currently have Mixon, Brees, Kyron, and Pacheco. Who would you look to go after Gibbs? If I could trade Kyron Williams for Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm getting that done ASAP. I have Devontae Smith too. Already tried Chase and Kupp. If I got AJ for Puka, it doesn't matter if you have Devontae Smith. If you could have, I don't care about having 2 players on the same team if they're both elite players. Like, those are both elite, talented players. So to me, if I have like Devontae Smith and AJ Brown on the same team, that doesn't bother me because you have elite talent. You have 2 top 12 wide receivers. So who cares if they're on the same team? You have elite production for the rest of the year. To me, that doesn't bother me. I would for Puka, yes, I would go get AJ Brown. DJ Moore and Dotson for Jonathan Taylor. Send that shit today. AJ and Smitty work together. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'm starting off 2-0. Your advice is the best on TikTok, brother. I appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you. You're trying to trade Breece Hall and DJ Moore for CD or Devontae Adams? Yes. Breece and DJ Moore, go get CD or Devontae Adams. I love both of those plays. Love both of those plays. All right, who should I start as tomorrow? I got you tomorrow. Who should I start? How much fab would you spend on Ford? About 20% of the budget. Unless we get some crazy Kareem Hunt news. The thing is, Kareem Hunt's visited a lot of teams. He's visited the Colts. He's visited a lot of teams. He hasn't signed. So for Ford, I'm probably like 20% just in case he doesn't sign. Pick up Nico Collins or Ford. If you need a running back, it's Ford right now. You have to. Like, I know running back's decimated. You have to get Ford right now. Nico Collins is a fine pickup as well. Very fine. I like him as a weekly wide receiver 3 in 12-team leagues. He's earned it. He's earned it. Should I trade Breece Hall, Dalton Kincaid, and Pickens for Kamara, Laporta, and Godwin? Breece Hall, Kincaid, Pickens, Kamara, Laporta, Godwin. I like the Laporta Kamara side a little bit more, but it's a pretty even deal. I think the Kamara side is the winner on paper. I like the Kamara side better, but it's not. I don't like doing position for the same position. A lot of times it's just a fair deal that ends up being a 50-50 coin flip. Thoughts on Dalvin Cook after the game? 4 carries isn't enough for me to have like a complete evaluation of a player. I don't like what I'm seeing out of the Jets' run game and Dalvin Cook specifically. As somebody that said they both have RB2 upside, I get it. They played the Bills and the Cowboys. It's kind of like the Najee Harris thing, right? You probably could buy low on Dalvin Cook, but it's more like a stay away until we see an uptick. 4 carries for him and Breece Hall. I don't know. There's no more Aaron Rodgers, so that take's probably going to age like milk, as they say. My Dalvin Cook and Breece take. It's not Aaron Rodgers there anymore. But this team has to get to the run game at some point. They're going to need to see 30 carries at least from both of those backs combined. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about Dalvin Cook. My gut on Dalvin Cook says he'll be better. He'll be RB3-ish flex type value. That's my gut on Dalvin Cook. I could be wrong on it. I could be wrong. Let's see. Dame, I see you. What are your thoughts on Kyron rest of the season? I would try to trade him if I were you. He's going to be a starter, but what happens if they bring another back in? I don't know. Honestly, Kyron's a tough evaluation for me because is he truly talented or just is he taking advantage of the moment? We see running backs like this a lot. They start off on fire and then they kind of, as the season goes, they flame out because they're not used to taking starting touches. So Kyron Williams to me is an intriguing guy. Sean McVay he's been known to just like run the hot hand. So I prefer to put him in the RB3 category personally. If you want to put him in RB2 category, that's fine. I would try to sell him as an RB2 candidate and get a fallen in. Get a Joe Mixon, a Najee Harris. Shit, if you can get a Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara, I get a more reliable name than Kyron Williams, just in case something happens with him throughout the course of the year. Think Akers actually gets traded? Yes. Cam Akers is gone. Cam Akers is gone. All right, Super Chat came in. Dotson, Dell, or Elijah Moore. I've been – guys, you know I'm not on Elijah Moore. Never have, never will be. Elijah Moore, I'm not in on. When it comes to Dotson and Tank Dell, I still like Dotson more. I think that there's upside there we haven't seen yet. And Dotson's a name you might want to trade for as well. Like if you can get him as a wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. He had a tough matchup last week against Denver. So I think Dotson might even fit into that buy low territory where everybody was super high on him in the offseason. And I touched on this. I warned you guys about like putting him a little bit too high. He's a player I would go get, though, as like a wide receiver 4. I wouldn't overpay for him, but if I could buy low on Dotson right now or if he was floating on waivers, I go get it done. And Tank Dell to me is going to be a little more inconsistent than even Josh Dotson. Dan, appreciate you, dog. Said trade. I get DK Ayuk, Aaron Jones, Barkley. DK Ayuk, Aaron Jones, Barkley. For Lamb, Mixon, DJ Moore, Monty. DK Ayuk, Aaron Jones, Barkley. Even with the Barkley injury, I think that side's a little heavier, right? I like that side a little bit better. Just depends on the makeup of your team. In a more shallow league, you're going to want the elite player, which is CeeDee Lamb. But when I look at the depth you're getting, it's all elite depth. Give me that side, the DK, Ayuk, Aaron Jones side. Y'all doing these super chats trying to get me from doing these sell high candidates. I got to talk about these sell high candidates. Ford, Gibbs, or Brian Robinson this week. I got start and sits coming this week. My gut I haven't looked at the matchups yet. I'm not going to lie to you. Gibbs was probably going to be the play for me this week. I haven't looked at the matchups, though. Come back tomorrow for start and sits. I go through every single game. I'm literally going to go through every single game. So once I know who they play, I'll have a much better analysis on it. But for now, the play is Jahmyr Gibbs, then Brian Robinson, then Jerome Ford. I got to look at the matchups. Trade Joshua Kelly for Jackson Smith-Njigba. Get that shit done now. Get that shit done now. Joshua Kelly from Jackson Smith-Njigba, get that done now, bro. Yes, that is the deal. Yes, please do that deal now. Like, that's perfect. That's perfect value right there for JSN. Pick up Moss and Ford. Yes, and then you can pick up Zach Moss and Jerome Ford, who fit to be just like Joshua Kelly. Eckler may not be back. Say he's not back this week, right? If Joshua Kelly's matchup dependent. He's not this guy you just throw out there every week, right? He's like a Jamal Williams. I talked about benching Jamal Williams against Tennessee and Joshua Kelly against Tennessee, and that's why. Because if these guys don't score touchdowns, they can't help your fantasy team. Joshua Kelly's not catching 3 passes a game, right? So his value is tied so much to touchdowns that in PPR leagues, for Jackson Smith-Njigba, you get that done. You go get that done right now. Like, leave the show, go get that done instantly. Garrett Wilson for D-Hop and Zay Flowers. If you need the depth, D-Hop and Garrett Wilson will probably tier out among the same. Once the season's over, maybe they're 20 points off one way or the other, but they should tier out about the same. And then you get Zay Flowers, who's another, in my opinion, another trade piece, right? If he's not helping your fantasy team, he's at least an asset. I think asset-wise, I'd much rather have the D-Hop and Zay Flowers side. Drop Khalil Herbert for Jerome Ford. That's a tough one because my gut says yes, but I think value-wise, you have a little bit more value out of Khalil Herbert than you do Jerome Ford. You probably have somebody else you can drop on your roster outside of Khalil Herbert. That's one of those gut calls, right? We think Rashawn Johnson's going to take over, but it's not an absolute that it happens, and they can run a committee for the foreseeable future. Jerome Ford right now has a lock hold on the Browns' rushing attack. So for me, I'm okay with it. I don't love that move, though. I would try to find somebody else. And then last one, trade Breece, JT, Javen Njoku for Jacobs and Andrews. Breece, JT, and Njoku. No, it's too heavy. That's too heavy. You're giving up too many running backs. Keep JT and Breece. I don't think that's a good consolidation right there. That's an overpay for Jacobs, who hasn't proved anything. And Mark Andrews is good, not great. Good, not great. So I would steer away from that one, Jack. I don't think that's a great move. I don't think that's a great consolidation, to be honest with you. Thoughts on Tony Jones? I think Tony Jones. I don't like Tony Jones. I don't like Tony Jones to pick up. Kamara's going to be back next week. So if you had $1 or $0 to spend on him, cool. If you needed a running back for next week, I'm out on Tony Jones. Even if he has a good game next week, he's not a vital part of their team. Kendre Miller should be back at some point too. I know he's been like questionable than out. I think Kendre Miller should be back at some point. I'd be much more interested in seeing how his status is leading up to this game. Kendre Miller is back for this game. I'd much rather have him than Tony Jones. That's how I look at that. So Tony Jones is going to be the name that everybody goes for. But I would be very, very interested in looking at Kendre Miller's status for this game. That's actually something I need to check. Kendre Miller's status for this game. And if he's available to play, that is the pickup, not Tony Jones. Rookie. Kendre Miller's a rookie. All right, guys. Hey, I see your guys' questions here. Let me get through the sales, and then I'll come back to TikTok here and answer more questions. All right? All right? I appreciate everybody who subbed. I haven't seen it. I appreciate everybody who subbed here. Everybody who's rocking with me on TikTok. Let me get through these sell high candidates. A lot of them you've already heard, but I just want to talk about them a little bit more. Jordan Addison is a name I've already said a few times here on the show. Jordan Addison as a sell high candidate. And the reason why is because this is a guy who's had 2 40-yard TDs, right? And when you start to think about it, that's a good player to have on your team for weekly upside, but he doesn't have the catch volume to support that on a weekly basis. So there's going to be some games where, like, you have players. And a lot of times I talk PPR, right? Most of the time I'm talking full PPR when it comes to value. So also keep that in mind. But with Jordan Addison, he's not seeing enough volume to start on a weekly basis and have like true upside to have that splash game even, right? Jordan Addison's a 4-catch guy, 5-catch guy. And if he's not getting a 40-yard TD, a lot of his stuff is closer to the line of scrimmage. So he's going to have a shot play every now and then. But this is Justin Jefferson's offense. The secondary option is still TJ Hawkinson. He's third in line for targets, and his shot plays have worked. But when those don't work, that's going to be a 3 to 4 point week. If he has 2 of those in a row, his value craters, immediately craters. He's had 2 good games in a row. This is one of those times where I would trade the ceiling for Jordan Addison which it looks like a 10 to 15 point ceiling on a weekly basis, I would trade that ceiling for a player that has that kind of floor. Like, this is one of those moments. I would look for the wide receiver twos. I would look for that. And that's the kind of move I would make right now with Jordan Addison. So I would be trying to go get an A.J. Brown with Jordan Addison and some other player combination. Doesn't always work, but I would be trying to do that, all right? Jordan Addison, a sell-high player. I would even look at like DeAndre Hopkins. I know that sounds crazy to think about right now. A DeAndre Hopkins type player. Like, that's another player I'd be looking at. So I would be trying to move up with Jordan Addison, move up player value-wise. That's typically how I trade up. Move up for fallen value. I think that's one of the best ways to trade in fantasy. Buy low, sell high. It's the motto, okay? Another option is Kendrick Bourne. I talked about him as a sell high candidate. I think last week I talked about him as a sell high candidate. It's a guy, right? He is one. Kendrick Bourne does not have a clear lock on this receiving core. And you saw it against the Dolphins. If you picked him up, if I could flip him for the JSN, like Kendrick Bourne and another player for JSN, that's the kind of move I would be looking to do right now. Kendrick Bourne, and y'all can figure out the player. There's a player on your team that you know you can pair with Kendrick Bourne to go get JSN. That's the move right now if I have Kendrick Bourne. All right? So Kendrick Bourne is a player that doesn't have a clear lock hold. Devontae Parker's had a good week. I'm sure we'll see Hunter Henry continue to have a good week. We'll see Juju Smith at some point have a good week depending on the matchup. Kendrick Bourne is a sell candidate for whatever you can get for him. He might even be a player you're dropping in a week, straight up. Puka Nacua is the most obvious. I think he's one of the more obvious sell-high candidates, in my opinion. We know to sell him, but it's like, what for, right? If I'm selling Puka Nacua, I'm selling him as a wide receiver 2. If he has wide receiver 3 value in the marketplace right now in your league, just keep him. Just keep him. Like, wide receiver 3 value for the upside that he has right now isn't enough for me to move Puka Nacua. But if I could sell high, if I'm selling at wide receiver 2 value, or if somebody in your league truly thinks he's this year's league winner, breakout, and they're like, man, I'm so mad about A.J. Brown. Man, I'm so mad about Jamar Chase. Man, I was like we talked about last week with T. Higgins. People play on emotions in fantasy. You got to play on logic. These guys get paid. They have value across the entire season. Most of the time, right? And if there's a player that value-wise, like, shit, I've talked a lot about Calvin Ridley. I'd move Puka for Calvin Ridley after this week. If there's somebody like, damn it, Calvin Ridley only had 5 points this week, that's the kind of player I would go get, right? So Puka Nacua is a player I would be looking to move. I'd be very active for like a top 15, early season top 15 wide receiver that maybe doesn't have that value in the marketplace. That's what I'd be looking for. A player that I think after this Thursday will be somewhat of a sell-high candidate is Deebo Samuel. Ayuk is banged up this week, may not play on a short week. If he does play, he might be limited. Brandon Ayuk might be, right? But Deebo Samuel coming off a strong game against the Rams, potentially a strong game against the New York Giants. Deebo's a good receiver to have, but he's going to be very inconsistent for fantasy purposes this week. If I could sell Deebo as a top 12 wide receiver, I would do it. If he has another elite performance, which if Brandon Ayuk's out, he's probably going to have a strong performance this Thursday. I'd be watching Deebo Samuel as a sell-high candidate. I'm not trying to just get rid of him. But I talk about players where I think you can trade them. Sell high for all intents and purposes, if you haven't been following me or you don't know, is sell at high market value. I don't think their value can get much higher. That's what I mean by sell high. So hopefully that makes sense. Like, I'm not just saying sell Deebo, he's going to be bad. Sell high doesn't mean I think this player is going to fall off. I think that's their highest market value. And I think Deebo Samuel this year, if he can get up in the top 12 wide receiver value, that's the highest value. Couple more. DeAndre Swift, obvious sell high. Obviously, it's a sell high. You can sell him at RB2 values and convince your league mates that he's the starting running back and that he's going to get 25 carries a game. Sell DeAndre Swift. Hey, Kenny Gainwell's expected back this week. Nick Sirianni was very positive about Gainwell's availability for this week. So Gainwell, if he does come back, at worst, it's a 50-50 split. At worst, 50-50 split between Gainwell and Swift. Swift is not the starter. He comes back, that'll be very apparent. He'll lose all of his value. Second, DeAndre Swift is very hit or miss. He has very strong games. Even when he's a starter, he gets a lot of touches. He has a lot of duds. DeAndre Swift has a lot of duds. So even if he's a starter for this Eagles team and Gainwell is out, there's a chance that DeAndre Swift does not have a strong game. Third, he's injury prone. That's one of the biggest reasons he got moved from Detroit to the Eagles. It's because he's injury prone. DeAndre Swift, sell high candidate, sell him as a running back too. If I could lock in RB2 value for him, I would. Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, those are players I'd be going after with DeAndre Swift. You might be able to get a little bit more. All right, three more, and I'm getting back to all the questions. I'm already bookmarked here on where my questions were. So on TikTok, I'm gonna run through these first, and then after that, I'm gonna go through the super chats here on YouTube, and then I'll get to more questions. Tyler Algier. If you haven't sold high on Tyler Algier yet, the boat's gonna continue to drop. Anytime Tyler Algier has a touchdown or multiple touchdown game, I'll be looking to sell high. Right? He'll be involved. This week, you may not get as much value, but after he scores a touchdown, like that's the time I'm looking to move Tyler Algier. So for me, he doesn't catch passes in this offense. He's more of a 50 to 60-yard guy, which is a 6-point effort like we saw last week. I would still sell on a name and a lot of the hype that came with Tyler Algier last week. I would still be looking to move him for somebody that's clearly fallen in value, like a Najee Harris. If I could move Algier and somebody else for Najee Harris, that's the kind of move I would make right now. I know a lot of y'all looking at me crazy. But if I had Algier, I'd be going to the Najee Harris owner saying Algier and another upside piece for Najee Harris. That's what I would do. Brian Robinson's another name I think you can capitalize on the value. I would treat him in the trade market as a running back too, but in real life, I think he's going to start to fit in as an RB3. Guys that score a lot of touchdowns early, unless I'm wrong about Brian Robinson and he's in the 10 to 15 touchdown range this year, maybe he is, then he'll be an RB2. This is a guy who scored 2 touchdowns in 2 games. I think you can get max value for him in the market. Similar tier to like back in RB2 range. Like I think that's where he tiers out. Among the 15 to 20 range at running back, you could probably get Jahmyr Gibbs for Brian Robinson right now. I think that'd be a win for you. And then last one is Raheem Mostert. I think you sell Raheem Mostert as a back end RB2 right now. And the reason why with Raheem Mostert, he's been injury prone his whole career. Been tough for him to stay healthy. We saw him stay healthy last year. But why was that? It's because he was splitting carries. Salvin Ahmed has been involved, but Devin Achane is now back. Jeff Wilson Jr. is coming back week 5. They're optimistic that he's going to be back. And like I said, Raheem Mostert's been banged up at times. So this could be a full-on committee like it was when the running backs were healthy last year. They'll have 4 healthy running backs by week 5. This is the time, if you can capitalize on Raheem Mostert's value, I would do it. All right, buy low, sell high is complete. I'll go back and mark this through on YouTube. TikTok, let me get to your questions real quick, and then I'm going to come to the YouTube Super Chats. I got a lot backed up right now. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. Kyron Williams and CD for Gibbs and Hill. Kyron and CMC for Gibbs and Hill. I think that's good enough value getting Gibbs and Hill. It's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. I prefer the Hill and Gibbs side. Do I try to sell Addison? Yes, he's on my sell high candidates. I had Brees trade him away for Henry. Was it a bad deal? No, getting Derrick Henry is a solid move. If that's Hunter Henry, yes, it's a terrible deal. If it's Hunter Henry, it's terrible. If it's Derrick Henry, it's great. Kyron and CD, I answered that one. I like Puka. I feel like Cup out could be longer. If you want to hold on to Puka, that's fine. I think there's a way to capitalize his value in the marketplace. I don't like players. I don't like any player. I'm not going to lie. There's maybe Mike Evans is a player I like. But I like value more than anything. I like when you can get value. So for me, I'm trying to win fantasy football. I'm trying to win the game. And I'll say that all throughout the year. That's going to be a consistent theme with my content throughout the year. I'm trying to win the game. So I don't fall in love with players. Puka Nacua, he's a fun player to like. I like talent. I like production. And I like market value, especially early on in the year. Market value. I like production later on. That's what I'm looking for. So safe Robert Woods floor is not exciting to me. I'll say that. Kyron Miller should be good to go. They said this week, Miller. Why am I thinking of it? I can't think of the Miller. What Miller? Kendre Miller? Kendre Miller good to go this week? He's a pickup. I missed. Damn it. I need to make another. I missed him and I missed Ty Chandler. I'm just going to do a separate post for both of those guys. I'm going to do a separate post for both. Should I trade Evans for Kamara? I think that's a wash. I'd rather have Evans right now. His level of play is too good to just give him up. Fields for Jerry Jeudy. If you have another quarterback, I'm okay with it. Don't trade Justin Fields for the low. Wait for the 40-yard week, the 40-point week where he blows up. My team: Fields, Eckler, Gibbs, Puka, Smitty, Waller, and Olave. What do you suggest I do? Fields, Eckler, Gibbs, Puka, Smitty, Waller, and Olave. I think you're solid. I would try to trade Puka, though. I'm keeping Puka. That's all good. Jerry Jeudy, Scary Terry, Najee Harris. I have starts and sits tomorrow. My preference out of the 3 is Najee Harris, just in general. All right. Where I left off. Kelly from Jigba, that was the last. Nope. Got that one. Sanchez, appreciate you, dog. Puka and Hollywood Brown for Chase. Yes. Or Puka and Judy for Chase. Puka and Hollywood for Chase. ASAP. Chicken Little, ASAP. Get that done. That's the ideal trade. That right there is the ideal trade. When I talk about sell high, like you can like Puka all you want. But when you talk about a floor, Jamar Chase has 1,000-yard floor. Has like an 8 to 10 touchdown floor. Puka, if he had 1,008, would be the story of fantasy football. He'd be like, bro, he's a league winner. And you could get that for Chase, right? Get Chase, because Chase, any game could be the wide receiver one. Like I know Puka's already had that, but that's the ideal capitalization on value right there. Puka and Hollywood for Chase. Good job. Do you go live at the same time? Yes, I'm live at the same time on both. Thoughts on Jordan Love? I think he has some upside, but I also think there's a lower floor we haven't talked about yet. It was Derek. Derek, I missed Derek. I missed that one. Would you trade Kyren just straight up with Gibbs? Yeah, I would do Kyren straight up for Gibbs. Do I trade Puka for James Cook and Dotson? I think that's an okay deal. I think you can get better for Puka. Do I trade Puka straight up for Calvin Ridley? Yes, Cam. Puka, yes. Puka for, yeah. The Cook for Dotson deal, I think you can do better. Evans for Kamara and Gibbs? Yes, I would do that. Kamara and Gibbs. I would do Kamara and Gibbs, yes. Man, this is great, bro. You've grown since last year, bro. Man, it's changed for me, bro. It's good and bad, because it's good because you got a lot more eyes on you and, a lot of love, a lot of hate. That goes far. But then, it sucks because I can't get to as many people. So my goal is to try to give like at least enough advice on air so you guys can hear it. If I can't, I like answering as many questions. Like there was a point where I was answering every single question. I can't do it anymore. I want to, but I can't. So it sucks because that's the one thing I do miss is being able to go through every single question and help with fantasy teams. So if I can't, hopefully I can answer your question. The best way, I'm going to continue to say this, the best way if you have a question for me is to head to YouTube, Justin Henry Show, and ask on one of my videos there. That's probably the least traffic area that I get. But I appreciate you, Carrillo. It's been a long journey, bro. All right. Nico Collins, Kyren, and Bree start 2. Nico Collins, Brees. I'll have starts and sits tomorrow. Like I said, I haven't taken a look at the matchup, so it'd be really unfair for me to just say, oh, start this guy just because I'm feeling it a type of way. My gut would say Brees and Nico Collins. I don't know the matchups. And like I said, Brees, I think a big bounce back day for Brees is in story. He only had 4 carries. I want to see the matchup. Then Nico Collins has slotted in as like a rock solid wide receiver 3 for me in PPR leagues. All right. Let me go through, bro. Let me go through some of these early comments. Cade, what's good, bro? Cade, what's good? Hey, Justin, thanks for the advice on Kelsey last night. I'm going to try to push for him. You already know, bro. You already know. I started a minute late. I must be dead. Yo, we haven't seen Ryan hot in a hot minute. Trevor, what's good, dog? What's good? Some of the regulars, I see y'all in here. I see you guys. Let's see. Jacobs and Dotson for Mixon. Jacobs and Dotson. I think that's kind of a wash. Like Jacobs and Mixon, I still have similar value. I think that's kind of a wash. Sorry I was late, guys. Sorry I was late. Good game, Justin. Allen Robinson sold you last night in the Money League. I know, bruh. I had a bunch of people sell, bruh, but it's all good. It's all good, man. Yeah, Najee sold me in a lot of leagues last year. I lost 3 different leagues by 1 point that I had Najee on, which is crazy. 3 different leagues last night because Najee got 5.3 points. He got big on Adam Thielen, though. Yo, Adam Thielen, that was a good hit. Ryan, what's good, dog? What's good? The real Kelsey go down there. Offered my buddy Waddle and Garrett Wilson for Puka, but he declined. You're lucky. Okay, you're lucky you got here. Unless you were saying you wanted Waddle and Garrett Wilson for Puka, then you're being greedy. You should have just got Waddle. CMC and Kyren, I answered that one, DJ. I take the hillside, but I don't love it. I take the hillside, though. It's not like I like that side better. Puka, Jacoby Myers, Christian Watson, or Drake London. I'm out of those options, Christian Watson's the play. Christian Watson. Next up would be Drake, then Puka, then Jacoby Myers. Would you trade Calvin Ridley for Gibbs? I think that's a wash wide receiver for running back. I think I think Calvin Ridley has more value, though. More value. Jahan, where you at? I was a little behind, bruh. I was a little behind. Thoughts on Jerome Ford? I talked about Jerome Ford. Good pickup. Good pickup this week. No vacation for you. What's up, Jahan? I got offered Kittle for Puka and Swift thoughts. I'd rather have the Kittle side. Still, I'd rather have the Kittle getting. I think Kittle has a bounce back day against the Giants this week. I think he does. I think this might be the last time he should have been on this list of buy low people, but I think he was on my list and I didn't write it down again. Kittle's on the buy low list. That's a buy low candidate for me at tight end. If I could trade Swift into somebody else and get Kittle, I'm doing that too. I think George Kittle's a buy right now. Spam the like button. You already know. How much longer do you think Eckler to be out? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I wish I was. High ankle is tough. I wish I had a better answer when it came to the high ankle. I have no clue. So if he was back this week, it wouldn't surprise me. If he was out another 3 weeks, I wouldn't surprise me. I would anticipate that he's out at least another 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, at least. I would anticipate that. If he comes back sooner, he comes back sooner, and he's probably not as effective. And if you guys are here and you haven't subbed to the page, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. If you're here on TikTok, drop a follow. I do daily content. Also come to the YouTube page. Drop me a sub over there. It's called The Justin Henry Show. Sorry if I missed it, but would Calvin or A.J. Brown be the go-to if you had to choose Calvin or A.J. Brown? What Calvin? I would choose A.J. Brown over Calvin Ridley. Puka for James Cook and Dotson. I answered that one already, Ryan. I would aim higher. I would aim higher for Puka. Jahan, should I trade Wilson and Flowers for Ridley? Garrett Wilson and Flowers. I think that's a wash. Like Wilson and Ridley have similar value to me. I think that's a wash. Alexander, appreciate you, dog. If you guys, I don't know if you guys are trying to do this or not, but make sure if you guys do drop like a super chat or a thanks or whatever this is, that there's a button to do it, but then there's also like a fill-in button. So I don't know if you were trying to have me answer your question, Alexander. Sorry if I missed it, but go through and actually write the question. Make sure you write the question in the chat before you send it. All right. So that way I can answer a question, unless you're just showing some love. Are you kidding me? I remember suggesting and still get ADS. What's ADS? Oh, still get ads. I was like, what's ADS, bro? I'm in acronym mode. I see JSN, DJM. I see all these acronyms and stuff. My bad, okay? Congrats. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, it's a long – I need the vacation. Need it. 10. It's going to be a nice 10-year anniversary, man. I need that. Me and the wifey. Huge dub. Ryan, y'all better say congratulations to Ryan. Y'all say congratulations to me. Ryan, let him know how you won, bro. Huge dub for Ryan. He showed it to me. I'll let him tell you what it was. But yeah, Ryan, congratulations, bro. Huge dub. Would you send off Madison and Khalil Herbert for Zach Charbonnet and Hollywood? This is mid for mid, bro. If you're gonna deal Madison and Khalil Herbert, aim higher than Charbonnet and Hollywood Brown. Get out of here. You taking the wife to the Niners game for the anniversary? No, I'm actually we're gonna go on a little vacation. We're gonna head out of town, man. I might not be watching the game. That's where I'll be at. Now I'll probably be posted up at the bar. I ain't gonna lie. She ain't gonna like it, but I'm gonna be posted up at the bar watching the game. Bro is confident in Najee. He trashed. Hey, who trashed, me or Najee? Both of us is gonna bounce back. If I missed on Najee, I bounce back. If you calling Najee trash, he gonna bounce back. Bro was confident in Najee. Who cares? I'm confident in a lot of players. I wish I was perfect. I'm sure you are, though, right, Jarrell? You perfect, Jarrell? I know you perfect, right? You better than me? You better than me in this shit? You know more than me? If you know more than me, you can hop on the show, bruh. You can hop on the show and let's talk. Let's just go back and forth. And if you know more than me, it's good. So if I'm trash, you think you know more than me? You got more insight? I'll go to battle with. I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody in this thing. Anybody. In fantasy football, I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. So if you know more than me, you got to invite, bro. You got to invite. Trade CeeDee Lamb for Jamar Chase. I think that's a wash. I don't care. I'm not saying I'm 100% going to get anything right, but information-wise, I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. There's guys that got more statistics than me. There's guys that maybe have more NFL insight. I still feel confident in my skill set. There's guys that know more than me in the NFL, right? But I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. Straight up. If you got somebody better out here, send them my way. Send them my way. You got somebody better in this fantasy space on YouTube, on TikTok, send them my way. That's all I got to say. And let's get in the league. Let's get in the league. A creator that's better, that's just absolutely so much better than me, send them my way. I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. Toe-to-toe. Telling me, yeah, we gonna get off that, baby. We gonna get off that. Mike Evans for Josh Jacobs. I don't think that's a good deal. I think it's a wash. Still too early. Did we miss on Olave? Olave? What do we do with Olave? What do we do? Let me talk about him. I didn't include him in the sell high column. I did last week. I didn't want to re-up it. But to me, Olave, bro, if you can get top 12 value for Olave, still I'd do it. Like, he's more of a back end wide receiver too, because the touchdowns ain't gonna be there. Even if he gets 1,100 yards, it's still like 4 to 5 touchdowns on the year, 70 to 80 catches. Like, I talked about it, but like, I hope if you got Olave, I just don't think he's a wide receiver 1 this year. That's where I'm at. I think he's probably a sell high. We was talking about MT pulled through. Yes. Hey, one, they take, we was talking. Trey, I don't know what that meant, bro. You tired from work again, bro? I don't know what that meant. Hey, one, they take. I don't know what that meant. Trade Eckler in London for Diggs and Monty. Eckler in London for Diggs and Monty. I'm okay with getting Diggs there. I don't know what that meant, bro. I was trying to figure that out, but that was like tired Justin Gorilla. Ridley K9, Nico Collins for CMC and Christian Watson. Ridley K9, Nico, CMC, Christian. I'd rather have CMC out of all of that. Traded DJ Moore, Walker, and Wilson for Chase. DJ Moore, Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson for Chase. DJ Moore, Kenneth Walker, Wilson for Chase. That's a good overpay. I would rather have Chase. I think you might have gave up a little too much. A little too much. Like, I think you could have spread that out. But in a more shallow league, you probably had to do something like that. So I'm not mad at it. Got offered JSN and Hyatt for Warren and Dobbs. Give me the JSN side. I would counter with somebody besides Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt's going to be really up and down this year. But I think if you can get JSN for Dobbs, that's a deal I would do. I like JSN more than Dobbs right now. Yo, Roscoe, appreciate you, dog. I don't know if you remember me or not, but keep up the good work, Brody. Wish I could be on these more, but I still watch them all. Yo, appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you tapping in and watching and showing love. Thank you. So, whatever, I just try to be available. And yeah, I don't remember you. I would be honest if I remember you. I was trying to remember, but I don't remember you. But I will now. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate you, dog. I wish you could be on more too, but hopefully you're still able to watch. And if you guys let me know, am I sending out too much content, not enough, or is there anything I'm missing? That'd be helpful in the chat too. I'll go back through the chat comments and look. If there's anything else helpful-wise that you guys want to see from my end, more content, less content, different type of content, throw it my way. So I try to have enough out there to be helpful on a weekly basis. So thank you. Thank you for that. Was offered Evans, Ayuk, and Najee for Ridley and Madison. Evans, Ayuk, and Najee for Ridley and Madison. I 1,000% in taking the Evans, Ayuk, and Najee side. 1,000%. I also have Chubb in another league. Do I need to sell off CMC to get more running backs? I wouldn't panic. Just when it comes to like a major injury that happens, never panic on that, because you might find a running back and then you don't have to panic, right? You might find a Kyron Williams. You might find a Jerome Ford. You might find a Joshua Kelly for the week. Like, don't panic on that, right? Then you panic sell CMC, and then you actually find another running back, and now you're just stuck with a bunch of more mid. So don't sell off CMC. Keep CMC. He's the anchor that if you lost Chubb, he's the anchor that helps you when you lose these scenarios, right? He could go for 30 points and be basically 2 running backs in 1. You sell him for Breece Hall and say you go get Kyron Williams and Breece Hall, right? Or you get Rachaad White and you get Josh Jacobs. Both of those guys get 10 points, 12 points in a week. Shit, you could get that out of Christian McCaffrey in 1 week. So no, I don't trade Christian McCaffrey for that kind of value. Hold CMC, find another value to replace him. Appreciate you guys showing love today, guys. Trade Ayuk, Mixon in a first for Devontae Smith and Najee Harris. Ayuk, Mixon in a first. Is this dynasty? This looks like a dynasty deal. I'm gonna address this like it's a dynasty deal. Ayuk, Mixon in a first for Devontae Smith and Najee Harris. Ayuk, Mixon in first. I would just keep the Mixon, Ayuk in the first side. Mixon probably holds a lot of similar value to Najee. I know Najee's younger, but he holds a lot of similar value. And then Devontae Smith and Ayuk are pretty similar value as well. And you have to give up the first. I would just keep the Ayuk Mixon side, even if that's a late first. I would keep the Ayuk and Mixon side. I would keep the Ayuk and Mixon side. Let's see. Trade Mike Evans for Josh Jacobs or Najee for Josh Jacobs. That's even swap for even swap. I'd rather have Mike Evans out of all three. Two weaker secondaries. I think he was still a little overrated. Yeah, that's the consensus. You know me, Trey. Like that's against Olave, bro. Like he had opportunity there and really didn't capitalize on that. And he's got, I want to say he's got a tough match. Jair Alexander's on the schedule this week. I don't know if Jair's going to go up against Michael Thomas or go up against Olave, but they play Green Bay this week. Najee Marquis and Hollywood Brown for Josh Jacobs. Is that a good deal? I don't really think that's a good deal. It's about medium value. I agree, not a sell high, but there's good value. You're the go man, Mac. I appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you. The Justin face be killing me. Trying to get through these questions here. Would Olave for AJ Brown be a good trade? Yes. If I could get AJ Brown for Olave, I'd do it instantly. Won that game. My bad. Just woke up. See, I knew that work had got to you. Trade Eckler, Puka, Joshua Kelly for Diggs, Brees, and Monty. Eckler, Puka, Josh Kelly for Diggs, Brees, and Monty. Yes. Get the Diggs side. My league wants Cup for me. What should I be getting? Keep Cup unless you're getting like wide receiver 1 value. You better be getting top 5 wide receiver value. I might do it. Just want to know what you think about Brees. I like Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall has more upside, better days ahead. I wouldn't sell right now at his lowest value. I'm going to hang out with you guys on stream for a while. I'm going to hang out with you guys on stream and answer more of the questions that came in. I don't know how many are here, but I'm going to go through a lot of questions that have been here. So hang out with me. I'm going to hang out with you guys for at least another hour here on YouTube. I'm going to hang out. Trade Najee and Hollywood Brown for Josh Jacobs. I answered that one. Jamar and Swift. Traded Devontae and Najee for Jamar and Swift. Traded Devontae and Najee for Jamar and Swift. I don't love that deal. I would have rather had Devontae and Najee. I ain't going to lie. Would you trade CD for Derrick Henry? That's a wash. Rory, appreciate the sub. You dropped my spot, though. Jerome Ford worth the pickup? Yes. Even with Kareem Hunt visiting, I still think he's worth 20% of your fab right now. And if Kareem Hunt signs, he signs. But that's a risk I'm willing to take. Kareem Hunt's visited a lot of teams and hasn't signed. So he visited today. Did he sign? That should be another sign. Like Kareem Hunt's had a lot of visits. He's visited the Vikings, visited the Colts. He's visited a lot of teams. But for whatever reason, teams aren't signing him. So I don't know if it's the money, if he's looking for a certain money, if he's looking for a certain role. I still think Jerome Ford's their guy. And even if Kareem Hunt comes to the Browns, I think it's a split. Traded Allen Robinson for Robert Woods, mid for mid. I need Najee to start putting up some games. Me too, bro. If someone wants CMC, they got to pay. And hopefully I answered that question for you. Olave, yes, for AJ Brown. Should I trade Najee and for what? I would keep Najee. You're not going to get much for him right now. Trust me. Kelsey and Addison for Jacobs and Devontae Smith and punt tight end. I'd rather just keep Kelsey. Actually, that's pretty good value. Kelsey and Addison for Jacobs and Devontae Smith. That's pretty good value, actually. I would go to the Devontae Smith Jacobs side. And I would just, be active looking for tight end. Trading Allen Robinson for Robert Woods. Got that one. Drop Bigsby, Chardonnay, or Akers. My bench is looking sad. I drop Chardonnay or Bigsby. Neither. They might be pickups later on, but they're not worth it right now. CD for Bijan. That's receiver for running back. Positional swap. Trade Joshua Kelly for Hopkins or Judy. Either one. Go get either one for Joshua Kelly. TikTok. I'm about to go to YouTube. Answer questions on the Justin Henry Show here on YouTube. Head over there. I'm going to answer questions for the next hour. I'm not going to be able to catch up, but I'm going to try to go through the comments and catch up. If you have a question, I didn't answer it, ask it as a comment on my recent video, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out. All right. Alexander, I see you. Burrow, Eck, Najee, Diggs, Cup, Puka, and Will. What to do. So you got Burrow, Eck, and Najee, Diggs, Puka. I said Koopa, like Koopa Troopa. Cup and Puka is either Koopa or Puka. Which one is it? I would trade Puka right here, bro. I'd trade Puka. You got Eckler, you got Najee. You need a more stable back right now. Eckler might be on the shelf for a little bit. If he comes back, he's going to be limited. I think Cup, you got a lot of injuries here, bro. I would be trading Puka for high. So I'd be looking at like the names I talked about earlier on the buy low. I'd be trying to get at least 2 of those guys. And then I would also move Mike Will after a good week. Look to get one of those buy low candidates. I'd be very active in the trade market. If not, you got to be aggressive with your pickups. Try to find a way to win a week or two. All right. Here we go. I'm going to scroll all the way back up. So if you asked a question earlier and I didn't answer it, I'm going to try to get through them. I may not get to it, but I'm going to try, all right? I'm going to be on here for another hour answering questions. ETN, Mike Williams, Jacoby, Rashawn, Amari, Kyron, start 2. I'll have, especially when you got 6 of them, I'll have an answer tomorrow for you, all right? Christian Kirk or Nico at the flex. I actually think Nico will be more consistent than Christian Kirk over the long haul. So we know they got Christian Kirk back involved. He's not the wide receiver one. It's still Calvin Ridley. He'll be matchup dependent. I think Nico is going to be a little bit more consistent. I traded away A.J. Brown and Chase for Swift and Ridley. Yikes. He said joking. You better be a joke. Better be a joke. James Cook, Tyler Lockett, and Drake London for Travis Kelce and Cam. I think just getting the fact that you got Kelce was good enough for me. Good job. Sell or keep Pittman? I'd probably just rock with Pittman. I ain't going to lie. I'd probably just rock with Pittman. He's a good wide receiver 3 to have. Zach Moss for Puka? No, just keep Puka. Puka has much more value than Zach Moss. Justin took your advice, got Jamar and Puka for D-Hop, for Puka and D-Hop. Good job. Now stacked. See, this is why you do deals like that. You can find another Puka. You can't find another D-Hop, but you can find another Puka. There's absolutely no world where you find Jamar Chase consistently throughout the year. Unless Puka becomes that, which congratulations. Now you have the new floor. Like if they luck out, they luck out. Puka, unless some crazy shit we've never seen in fantasy football happens, Puka is going to come back to be like wide receiver 3 range, especially if Kupp comes back. But now you have Kupp, A.J. Brown, Higgins, and Chase. You're going to be unbeatable here pretty soon. Start 6 questions are tomorrow. Same thing there. What do I do with Najee? Looks horrible. Don't panic. Don't panic. Hey. Y'all watch it, Kate. I cuss all the time. What am I talking about? Yeah, you'll be able to bench Najee. I cuss all the time. I'm over here politicking on you. Like, no, don't. And I do the same shit. Thoughts on trading Aaron Jones for Puka and Joshua Kelly? I think value-wise it works out because the market value for Puka, but I'd rather have Aaron Jones. I'm not going to lie to you than both. Jacobs and Dotson for Mixon. I think this is a wash. Not really interested in it. This is a wash. I'd rather have the Jacobs and Dotson side just for the upside, but like Mixon is basically what Mixon and Jacobs are basically the same thing. Value-wise to me. Cade giving out win advice. I sent Rashad and Kincaid for A.J. Brown and Pitts. Cade out here giving out win advice, W advice, bro. Toronto Raptors hat, unreal. Yeah, I love this hat, bro. I got this hat for $5. Do I trade Goddard and Slant Boy for Kittle? Goddard and Mike Tom for Kittle. I think that's about on par for like an overpay at Kittle's value. So if you have good depth or you have good receiver depth, then yeah, I do this deal. But that's about on par for the value, in my opinion. Jarrell, appreciate the love, dog. Appreciate the love. My man Ryan's going to help answer questions in a little bit, baby. So, Jahan, when you say to trade Pierce, who do I target? Good question, Jesse. So when I say trade Pierce, I'd be aiming for like Pierce and another player. Those are the kind of deals I do, right? I do where somebody can probably get over on me, and 30% of the deals I'll lose. No. In 70% of the deals, on paper, I'm going to lose. That's typically how I deal. I trade with like the intention of like I'm giving up more value for a more startable piece. And here's why. This is win trade advice, bro. So when I do 2-for-1s, I always I try at least to give up more value than the player's worth. So if it was Dameon Pierce and Joshua Kelly, right? I'm looking at like a Jahmyr Gibbs, somebody who might not be a whole lot off of Dameon Pierce value-wise, but like is a clear upgrade in ceiling. So on paper, the person's gonna be like, yes, I got 2 RBs I can start. I can get 15 points out of Dameon Pierce, 15 points out of Joshua Kelly, let's say. I'm throwing out a name. 15 points out of both of these running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs' upside is only 20 points. So on a week-to-week basis, I'll win. But what does that also do when you do a 2-for-1? That opens up a roster spot, right? So now I go pick up a Zach Moss, who might be a 13-point guy. Maybe he's not Joshua Kelly. Maybe he's not Dameon Pierce. Or say the deal was, I'm trying to give you a better example, like Dameon Pierce and Alexander Madison. Let's say Dameon Pierce and Alexander Madison for Josh Jacobs. Let's say that's the deal. So I might have 2 10 to 12 point running backs And now I have 2 guys I can start comfortably, and I don't have to worry about waivers. But what happens next week when there's a Kyron Williams, when there's a Jerome Ford? I can be aggressive. If I have Josh Jacobs, I can be aggressive now in finding that next running back to balance it out. I can find another running back. What you can't do is always find that ceiling. So when I have a player like Dameon Pierce, who doesn't really have a 20-point ceiling most weeks, he only hit 20 points 2 times last year. I'm trying to sell that and another player who profiles similar to Pierce, doesn't have a 20-point ceiling very often. I'm trying to pair those two together to go get a player that has a higher ceiling and maybe a similar floor. I'll overpay. I'll give up more talent, right? I'm giving up more talent to go now establish a higher floor, higher ceiling. So then now when I pick up the next Kyron Williams and Joshua Kelly and all these other guys, when I pick up 2 of those players, now I'm looking for Najee Harris. So now when I'm starting Josh Jacobs and Najee Harris in my lineup. When they finally catch on, which will happen for both of those players, now my team is much stronger. I'm always looking to establish, especially early on in the year. That's one thing I'm going to do. So when you have Pierce, look for a player maybe similar value, try to establish a new ceiling. Hopefully that's some – I try to give those elite tips. Hopefully that's one of them elite tips that helps you out with your league when trading. Same thing for this. Puka and Jerry for Chase. I think I answered that one already with the Shaq. Get JT for Madison and Pickens. Yes, get JT for Madison and Pickens. When JT comes back, his upside's through the roof. It's probably along good value right now of JT, like building in the risk in case JT doesn't come back. But that's a trade I like. Getting JT, you get an elite running back. Is B-Rob a sell high? Yes, I talked about that earlier. Bro, Puka and Sky Moore for A.J. Brown. Yes. Get that done. That's what I'm talking about. You can create a very deadly team right now with Puka Nacua. You can create a very deadly team right now with Puka Nacua, especially if you have a Puka Nacua and DeAndre Swift combination. You can create a very deadly team. This is the kind of deal I would do. Olave or Waddle rest of the season? I'm still going with Waddle. Good question. What do you think Jacoby Myers' value is? Probably still wide receiver 4 range. Wide receiver 4 range. Think Nico Collins. He's probably like slight tier below Nico Collins. Would you trade D-Hop for JSN? Would you trade D-Hop for JSN? No. That's not buying low on JSN. That's not buying low on JSN. Garrett Wilson and Elliott or Joshua Kelly, a good trade for D-Hop? No. Garrett Wilson and D-Hop are similar value to me. Breece Hall and Pittman for Jacobs? No, I think that's too much for Josh Jacobs. That's not buy low. Breece Hall is another guy I probably would buy low on. I don't know if I mentioned him, but he's another guy I'll buy low on. Raheem Mostert? I don't know what I said about Raheem Mostert. Should I be selling Nico Collins? No, it's not. Nico Collins, unless you can lock in really good value, I'm not selling Nico Collins. I think he needs one more week to prove to people, but to me, he's better in your lineup as a wide receiver 3 in PPR leagues than he is trading away for like a wide receiver 4. If you can get wide receiver 3 value for him, like a Christian Watson, go ahead. If you can get like a wide receiver 3 for him at D-Hop, if you can get that value, cool. But I'm not selling Nico Collins unless I can get that. Is it smart to get Jacobs if I have Adams? I like getting talent. So if it works out in your favor, I'm not avoiding talent because I have 2 players on the same team. If it happens to fall that way, if I can get good value, the players are going to pan out no matter what. So, and to be honest, running backs and wide receivers, when you combine them, it actually gives you a safer floor because if the game script says, hey, heavy running attack and maybe Devontae's a little bit slacking, a lot of times the offense goes through Josh Jacobs. It's a stronger day on the ground. With Devontae Adams, same thing. If it's maybe they're throwing it through the air that day, and Jacobs is struggling. Now you have Devontae Adams scoring. So a lot of times those are the 2 top touchdown targets for the Raiders. It's not a bad move. It establishes a good floor, maybe limits your ceiling a little bit. Buy low on Kittle? Absolutely. I talked about it. Is Swift a must start this week? Nah. Swift is not must start this week. Chase owner wants Kelsey and Aaron Jones or Kenneth Walker for Chase and Watson. I would not trade Kelsey and for Jamar Chase. I wouldn't do that. Would you do Pittman for JSN? No, they're similar value to me. Similar value. That's how I would value JSN is like Pittman value. Pittman to me is the high-end wide receiver 3. Kyrie, what's good, bro? He said, what's good, Brody? I got a quick question. Someone offered me Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson for Bijan and Christian Watson. Accept or not? This is a wash to me. Like Jamar Chase, Bijan, pretty similar value-wise to me. I think in the marketplace, Bijan's valued much higher than Jamar Chase right now. And then Garrett Wilson and Christian Watson probably value tier out among the same. Back in wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3 in a given week. So I don't think it's a huge win either side, but I think getting a running back right now is probably more valuable. Trade Nico Collins and Javonte for Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm okay with this. If you have the depth in a 14-man league, be careful. Careful with the depth. If you have the depth in a 14-man league, get it done. But in a standard league, probably not. In a standard league, probably not, because Gibbs, a lot of his value is built in the receiving game. And then you lose the depth too among that in the 14-man league. I don't like that. In a standard league, actually, I'd steer away from that. In a standard league, I'd steer away from that, because a lot of Gibbs' values in the passing game. Would you trade Keenan Allen for Cooper Kupp? I think this is the value, right? Keenan Allen is actually better value than his marketplace value is. Everybody thinks he's a wide receiver 2. Keenan Allen's a wide receiver 1. He's a top 10 receiver. In this offense especially, you see it. So I don't think trading him for Cooper Kupp is the right move. I think you can do somebody – if Cooper Kupp's available, I would counter that with something else. Like if Cooper Kupp's available, I would counter that with something else. Just in case you're building in too much risk for a talent like Keenan Allen, you got to steal with Keenan Allen in the second round this year. You think Pickens can be a league winner? That's a good question. I liked Pickens a lot in the offseason at wide receiver 3 range. League winner's tough to put. It's a tough label to put on Pickens. But can he be? He could be. He could be. He very well could be a league winner. I'm not putting that on him. That's a good question, though. I like it. I like the take. Matt Breida for, is that Dalvin Cook, James Cook? If you get either Cook, I give up Matt Breida. Drop one Kendrick Bourne or Rashad Bateman. I drop Bourne. I think Rashad Bateman has better days ahead. Rashad Bateman. Olave or Waddle rest of the season? Give me Waddle. I think I answered that one. Addison and Brian Robinson for Josh Jacobs. Yes, go get Josh Jacobs for that. Go get Josh Jacobs. Give Aaron Jones and Kelsey. I answered this one. Yeah, don't do this deal. Don't do that deal. Just lost Chubb to injuries and we're trading Diggs. Do not panic deal. Don't panic deal. I get you're trying to get a running back here, but I wouldn't give up Diggs for that. Like I said, I will go to, like, this person wants Diggs. That's what they're doing, right? So I would be like, hey, is Miles Sanders available? Obviously, Miles Sanders is a player they don't believe in. They're trying to give him away too. So I think Romeo Doubs and another player could probably get Miles Sanders. Honestly, I think you could do that. Romeo Doubs and another player. If not, this isn't a deal I think I would have to do. I would just be active trying to get another running back. Like Miles Sanders, you can find Miles Sanders production on waivers. Kyron Williams has been that. He's proven that. What should I do with Puka? The other receivers are Chase, Olave, and Amari. Yeah, like I said, I would try to move Puka if you could get AJ Brown, or running back. Like, you have pretty good receivers, Chase, Amari, then Olave. Like, if that's how I would stack up your receivers in order, it'd be Chase, Amari, and Olave. If I were you, I'd try to go get an elite running back, right? Maybe you get Saquon Barkley. Maybe. If the person has Saquon Barkley and knows he's out on the shelf, probably not, but you could try for that. Derrick Henry's another running back you might be able to get for Puka. Like, I get creative with Puka, and I'd be really aggressive. Even if it seems on paper to you in your mind like it's not a fair deal, I'd be very aggressive with Puka Nacua right now. Very aggressive. And if I come off as like, hey, you get over on me in a trade, I'd be okay with that. I would value Puka very highly right now, because in the market, I see a lot of comments. I get a lot of questions. Puka has a lot of value in the marketplace right now. Maybe in your league, maybe not. Do I need to stress about tight end and quarterback? I think Watson has better days ahead, and Kittle has better days ahead either. I wouldn't panic. I don't panic very often. Do you like Gibbs this week if Montgomery doesn't play? I do. I got to look at the matchup to see how much I like it. Do I trade Garrett Wilson, Addison, and Javonte? I answered this one already. AJ Brown and Mark Andrews for Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara. I like the Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara side, not by a whole lot. And especially if you don't have a tight end. Tight end it's terrible. But I like the Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara side, especially if you have the receivers to support it, because running back's so thin right now. Thoughts on the trade? Did we give away Waddle, Godwin, Samaje Perine for AJ Brown and Tyler Algier? Waddle, Godwin, Samaje Perine. I get AJ Brown. Nah, just keep Waddle and Godwin. Waddle's not so far off of AJ Brown that I feel like you need to give up Godwin. Unless you're in an 8-team league where you have like depth to give up, I don't really like that deal. I like the Waddle and Godwin side more. Smart trading Kelly for who? You left it blank. You left it blank. Should I pick up Moss and Ford? Moss and Ford are both pickups. I have Stevenson, B-Rob, Kyron Williams, Gainwell, Rashawn Johnson. What do I do? Flip them. Pair two of them together and flip them. Kyron Williams and B-Rob. Pair that, like, all of those are mid options, right? I would start pairing one more secure option with a little bit more upside option to go get a name that's a fallen name that I talked about as a buy low. So like Stevenson and Rashawn Johnson, B-Rob and Gainwell. Like I'd pair two of them up, not Stevenson and B-Rob together. I would go pair them up and go get the Mixons, the Najees. I've talked about the names a lot already, but the fallen, the Josh Jacobs, I would be very active trying to do that. Holy shit, I ain't getting all these questions. I ain't getting all these questions, y'all. I was looking to see how many questions are here. I ain't gonna get to them all, but I'm just gonna keep rolling through. I got, like I said, another half hour, so let me just keep rolling through. Y'all gonna rock with me if I stay on for another half an hour? Y'all gonna rock with me? If y'all gonna rock with me, I'm gonna keep the questions. I'm gonna keep the questions flowing. Where was I at? I was like 3:30. All right. So I try and trade ETN, Jacobs, or Bijan. I lost Chubb in my running back trade for ETN, Jacobs, or Bijan. My running backs are James Conner, Brian Robinson, Gainwell. Yes, you should be pairing up James Conner and Brian Robinson after a strong day and going to get Josh Jacobs. If you can get Bijan, do it. But I would be trying to go get like James Conner and Brian Robinson, probably fetch you Jacobs and maybe even ETN too. So I don't love ETN, but I think if you can level up with that, like pair up James Conner and Brian Robinson off strong weeks and try to go get Jacobs and ETN. You may or may not be able to pull it off. At minimum, I would go after Josh Jacobs. Gabe Davis for JSN? Yes, I would prefer JSN over Gabe Davis. I got Saquon and Chubb. What do I do? Get active this week. Like I said, there's a lot of running backs on free agency. So you could get your Jerome Fords. If somebody dropped Joshua Kelly, go get him. Kyron Williams, if he's still out there. There's some running backs on waivers you can go get. Kareem Hunt, if he's available. So be active on waivers. Ty Chandler in deeper leagues. If I would just try to find Zach Moss, like Matt Breida. Try to find a fill-in for the next week or two. And then if you have a receiver on your bench, that's just like he's chilling on your bench, or maybe he had a good week, one of the sell high candidates I talked about, be active in trying to go get a running back that we talked about a sell high. If you missed the buy low, sell high, rewind the episode and go back and watch it. It was good info. I have my whole team and just want to see what he thinks if I should trade anyone. B-ball player, hopefully I answer your question. Is it worth trading Kelsey? No, keep Kelsey. Keep Kelsey. Answered that one already. I have Fields and Richardson. Should I try to trade someone who needs a quarterback? Yes, I would be. If somebody who has Joe Burrow, I would look for whoever has Joe Burrow and try to get a receiver or a running back from him. Probably a running back. See what they have on their team. And if they have any of the buy low candidates on their team, I'd be aggressive with Fields. Thoughts on the trade? Giveaway Waddle, Godwin. I answered this one. Jacobs and Dotson for Mixon. I answered that one. Evans, Ayuk. I answered this one. Dallas G. D. Smith. What? Oh, Dallas Goddard. Dallas Goddard, Devontae Smith, and James Conner for Kelsey. That's too heavy for Kelsey, in my opinion. I'd rather just keep Kelsey. Trey, I see you, Doug. If he stays and rock with us, y'all go like this for real. Giving on good advice on the daily. Y'all make sure to show the love. Trey, as always, dog. You know Trey, man. Me and Trey go back to a 24-hour stream. And he stayed on and rocked with me the entire time through 24 hours. So y'all make sure to show love. Trey, I don't know if you got a YouTube page or something, but y'all make sure you go show the love to Trey. If you got a YouTube page, y'all show him a sub, man. This is my dog, bro. He rocked with me. Missed work that day. So y'all make sure to show Trey some love, man. When an OG in here. Even though you ain't really OG from last year, you still an OG, Trey. Much love, bro. Much love. And yeah, I'm gonna rock with y'all. Like I said, another half an hour at least. Trade Debo for Jacobs. That's not sell high, buy low. Like I think Debo has more ceiling than that. So when I say trade high, go for like a top 12 receiver or like a little bit higher of a running back than Josh Jacobs. In PPR leagues, in standard, maybe that's about right value, but I think you could do better. You probably could get Jacobs and if you like Josh Jacobs as a buy low with Debo, the performance he just had, you could probably get Jacobs and another player. Judy, D Hop, Flowers, Watson, Godwin, pick three. Pick three for what? Like to just have? If I'm going three to have, it's Godwin, Watson, Judy, D Hop. Hey, yo, Fierce Panda players, I'd be trying to move one of these guys if I were you, bro. Straight up. Trying to pair two of these guys up. You have a lot of really good options. So, like, I would be trying to pair two of these guys up to go get AJ Brown. These are good receivers to have. Flowers. If I had Flowers and D Hop or Flowers and Godwin, that probably gets you AJ Brown at this point. Or three of them. Like, I don't know how deep your league is, but if you have you did a good job with your draft. If you have all five of these guys, it fits a deeper league. So, good job. I'd be in trade mode, though. How are we feeling about Zach Moss? Zach Moss should be a flex, at least right now in 12-team leagues. A flex. Sell Puka, and if so, for what wide receivers? I talked about selling high on Puka. Hopefully, you're able to catch some of the names. AJ Brown, Chase, aim high. Aim high when it comes to Puka. Aim high. The value is there. I traded Walker, Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson, DJ for Chase. I'd rather have Chase out of those three, but it's a lot to give up. That's one of those you paid a lot to get Chase. In a deeper league, in like a more shallow league, 8 to 10-man league, that's a steal. And in 12-man leagues, it just depends on like how many players you have to start. Should I trade Bijan? I answered this one. Would you consider Alexander Madison as a buy low? Yes. Excuse me, no. No. Alexander Madison is not a buy low candidate. Thinking of doing Jahan Dotson, Gabe Davis, and Samaje Perine for this is a lot of mid, bro. Honestly. Like, no. There's players that have Alexander Madison value in the marketplace right now that have way higher ceiling than Alexander Madison. Like, you probably could get Miles Sanders for Alexander Madison price and it not be Alexander Madison's in jeopardy of losing his job. Like, you could probably do way better than Alexander Madison. When you talk buy low, you don't want a guy that's like about to lose his job. So I wouldn't do that. Debo and someone for Jamar Chase, yes. If you can get Jamar Chase, go ahead and do it. Traded Rashad White for Jahmyr Gibbs. Is that a good look? I think they're about the same value. I'd rather have Jahmyr Gibbs. So, yes, it's a good deal, but they're pretty similar value. I've been really heavy on Rashad White this entire offseason. And I think he funnels in as like back in RB2, high end RB3 value. So I think Jahmyr Gibbs has slightly more upside than that on a weekly basis in PPR leagues. So I think it's a good deal, not a great deal. Good deal, though. Start Love or Goff if Burrow isn't healthy. Most weeks I'm going to say Goff. Just to be fair, I have not done my entire start sit thing. So I don't even know who these guys are playing next week. So I think Love's going up against the Saints. Should be a tougher day for him. I don't know who Detroit plays next week. And I can't think of it off the top of my head. Thoughts on Kendre Miller? Kendre Miller is an ad. I just talked about Kendre Miller. If he's there, like add Kendre Miller. He'd be an ad in 12-man leagues or deeper. If he's healthy and playing this week, that's the ad. It's not Tony Jones. So I found out a little bit late about Jamal Williams' injury. So I didn't put that on my TikTok post, but I'm going to make a post once this is over. I'm going to make a post about Kendre Miller here in a second. So, yes, go get Kendre Miller if he's available. Probably like 5% of your budget. Bro, I just super chatted without the question. Sanchez, sorry, bro. Sorry. If you're still here and rocking Sanchez, I'll check down below real quick. If you're still here and rocking, try to ask the question. Does this dude actually answer YouTube questions that don't cost money? I hate that, bro. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I hate that it got to this point, but like I have to, and I'm trying to do more streams, trying to be active in the questions. I hate that it got to this point, but it is what it is, It does. So my bad, Alex. I do answer questions. You see me. I'm trying to stay and answer questions. So I try to show support. If you guys show support to me, like the videos, even when you don't agree, you guys like and comment and run my shit up. Like I try, but I try. Yes, he does. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you for having my back on that. Thinking of trading Nakua and Komet to get Hawkinson and Diggs. No, yes, go get Hawkinson and Diggs. I send it. With Puka, send it. You have no clue what's going on with Puka deals right now. Trust me. Puka for Jamar Chase. If you can pull it off, do it. Please. If you can, even if Puka goes another 20 targets this week and Jamar Chase is trash, it's still a win. Puka could win. Listen, Puka could have the greatest season of all time, and I still would not be mad at you for doing that deal. That's a classic case of like, you trade, like if I lost that deal, it doesn't matter. That's a secure the value thing. If it works, it works. Things happen in football. Things are tough to predict. But if you can secure value like that, and those are elite moves, like in the work leagues or your home leagues, those are I can't pull that in like the leagues that I'm in, I can't pull that off. But in your home leagues, they're gonna hate you for it in a few weeks. Those are the deals that you do. How much does Hunt signing affect Ford's value? I would say for the initial time period, it doesn't, but it'll be a timeshare. I think the Browns want a timeshare regardless, but to me, Jerome Ford is going to see steady work. Gabriel Duh. Chasing Kamara for Ridley and Pollard. I think it's a pretty clean deal because you're building in some risk right now on the Kamara and Chase side. I'd much rather have Chase and Kamara, though. Much rather have Chase and Kamara. But I think on paper, it's cleaner than it looks. Market value wise, it's cleaner than it looks. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right. Bet. Burrow, Eck, Najee, Diggs, Cup, Puka, Mike Will, Kincaid. Should I trade Najee and Mike Will for Mixon? No. You don't trade Najee and Mike Will. Najee is similar value to Mixon to me. Similar value. And right now, both of their values market-wise are pretty similar. Nobody wants either of them. I have Waddle over Olave. I'd say Waddle to me is like a top 12 receiver. Olave is more like top 20 to me, if that. On a weekly basis, yeah, he's more like top 20 to me. I'm probably being nicer. Like I think I had him wide receiver 25 to come into the year. I was probably a little harsh on him, but yeah, he's more like top 20-ish to me, I'd say. He's a wide receiver too, top 24, locked in. Should I trade Pat and Drake for Evans? Yeah, I'd do that deal. I get Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a wide receiver too. What's a good trade offer for Kittle and Kamara in Dynasty? Kittle, I don't know. Maybe you could do like honestly, I don't know about that. Market value in Dynasty is a little bit different. It tends to hold a little bit better than redraft. People panic in redraft way more than they do in redraft. Or excuse me, in Dynasty. Yeah, people panic way more in redraft and Dynasty. Trey, you go there, bro. You ain't gotta do that. Fields, Justice Hill, Olave for Lamar and Jacobs. Fields, Justice Hill, and Olave for Lamar and Jacobs. You need a RB. Like, I'd rather have the Lamar and Jacobs side. I'd rather have the Lamar and Jacobs side. Put it that way. That's a pretty clean offer, I would say. It's even value. Trey, my dog, bro, my dog. He said, y'all try to hop on here and answer all these questions. He goes question by question, but sending a super chat is for sure a way to get yours answered. And you get to support him to don't be a hater. Yeah, like I try, bro. Like, and the only reason like I have to answer the super chats is because they get starred. Like, if you could see what I see, they get starred, right? So it's like it flashes up, and I actually know that those came in, man. So yeah, I appreciate you guys showing support. I've never been in this for the money side of it. It's like a lot of money's been, some money's come my way this year from like sponsors and stuff, and obviously the super chats and subs come in. But I do spend my time answering a lot of shit for free. So thank you, Trey, for showing love as always. Showing love as always. My question didn't load on the super chat, but would you trade? Is this a joke? Sanchez, are you joking with me? I was trying to get to it. But would I trade who? I don't know who. I don't know who. I don't know who. Let me go back up here real quick. I was right here, right? Yeah. Who should I start? Start and sits tomorrow. No answers for the start and sit questions. I'll be back. Watch tomorrow. Trade Dalvin and Brian Robinson for Brees. Yeah, I would do that. I would do that deal. And I like Dalvin. I think there's more upside to Dalvin, but I would still do that deal. Have Ayuk, Evans, and Godwin as my top 3 receivers. Derek, what's good, bro? Where do I stay? Do I make a move? CMC, I'm assuming that meant not MCC. I don't know who MCC is. I'm assuming that meant CMC, Kamara, and Aaron Jones as your running backs. I think you're solid, bro. I think this is a good team. You stay where you are. CMC, Kamara, and Aaron Jones. Both of those guys will be back within the next 2-3 weeks. And then Ayuk, Evans, and Godwin as your receivers. You're solid, bro. I think this is a good team. What about trading Travis Etienne and Dalvin Cook for Najee? I think you can get better value than that. I like the deal getting Najee, but I think you can get better value than that in the marketplace. That's trading for Najee at real value, not market value right now. I like the Najee value, but I think that's I think you're trading at market value. So I'll talk, like I said, I talk market value and real value. You're trading market value. 104 of you in here. Hopefully you guys are all subs. If you're not, drop a sub here on the page. Drop a like. If I get 100 likes on this, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked and very pleasantly surprised. So if you're 104, if you're watching, drop a like. Drop a like. Drop a like. Just do that for me. Is Tyler Boyd worth the stash? Tyler Boyd, nah. Unless you're in a 14 or 16 man league. Should I trade Brian Robinson and Kendrick Bourne for Kenneth Walker? Yes, immediately. Immediately for Kenneth Walker. Should I trade for? I answered this one. You lost. Yeah, I answered this one already. Answered this one. Just lost Trub. Who should I trade for? I dropped a bunch of buy low targets. If I had some upside wide receivers that were playing well, I would be trading for Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, those kind of players. They have pretty good value in the marketplace right now. Mike Evans and Josh Jacobs for AJ and Goddard. I don't love that deal. I'd rather just keep Mike Evans and Josh Jacobs. AJ Brown's a good elite piece to go get. I don't mind it, but this is a pretty clean swap. I'd rather have the Mike Evans side and Josh Jacobs side. I'd rather have that side than the tight end. I like Goddard, but I don't think you're really buying low. It seems like an overpay for AJ. Thoughts on the trade? Give away Waddle, Godwin, Samaje Perine. Receive AJ Brown, Tyler Algier. Receive AJ Brown, Tyler. I think I answered this one already too. Thoughts on Mike Evans? Is he worth holding on to? You definitely want to hold on to Mike Evans. He's not a sell. That's funny to me. You asked the question and didn't answer the question. Didn't ask the question 2 times. That's funny to me. Answered that one already. Hey, Justin, do I trade Tyreek and ETN for Diggs and Pollard? I like the Diggs and Pollard side. I like getting that side. I almost put another sneaky thing I didn't talk about earlier. I almost put Pollard on my sell high. I didn't like the touches I saw last week. 32 touches was way too much. I almost put him on the sell high. If I see 30 plus touches again for Tony Pollard, he'll be the first player I start out with next week. He's not built for 30 touches a game. Should I trade Pat and Drake for Evans? Who's Pat? Pat Freiermuth and Drake London for Evans? Yes. Pat Freiermuth and Drake London for Evans. Go ahead. Here it is. Sanchez, I got you, bro. My super chat didn't load. Would you trade D-Hop and B-Rob for Cooper Kupp? Yes. I would do this deal. I would get Cooper Kupp for D. And I like D-Hop a lot. I think D-Hop is a wide receiver one, kind of like a Keenan Allen type. The only thing is D-Hop plays on a run-first offense. I still think he'll be good. I like the targets. We saw 13 targets week 1. I believe in that. But I think he's hampered for the next couple weeks. But I also think Cooper Kupp is just at a level above both of these guys. So if all these guys were healthy, are you doing that deal? D-Hop's banged up. Kupp comes back. Say he comes back week 5. You're doing that deal. So, yes, I would do that deal. I'm trading with the estimation that Kupp is back week 5. If I get burned by it, I get burned by it. Trade Rachaad White to get Josh Jacobs. I think I would do it. I would do Rachaad White for Josh Jacobs, but that's kind of the value, right? Like Rachaad White's value right there. Yes, I would do this deal. Rachaad White for Josh Jacobs. I think I just skipped over whoever's question I had up. I think I just logged off of it. Hopefully it's still on. I traded Walker, Wilson, and for Chase. And what for Chase? I think I answered this one already too. You asked it already. What should I do? I'm 0-2. Good question. What should I do? I'm 0-2. You got Burrow, Eckler, Najee, Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Puka, Mike Will, Kincaid, OBJ, Jerome Ford, Tony Allen, two son. I don't know what that meant. And Charbonnet. I don't know what that two son is. I was trying to figure it out in my head. I can't decipher that. What should I do? I'm 0-2. So I think I answered this one already, right? Trade Puka. Puka was, that was the answer. Trade Puka. Trade Puka and get some fallen value. Thoughts on Mike Evans? I answered this one. No, you get asked a lot. How much fab? 20% of the fab on Ford. I'm okay with that. I think he has, if they don't bring in Kareem Hunt, he's like his must. I would be like, I kind of hope Kareem Hunt doesn't get signed today so that people don't want to pay as much for Jerome Ford. I would go 20 to 25% on Jerome Ford. If he starts the year and they don't bring in Kareem Hunt, you probably have a strong RB2 on your team for the rest of the year. They run the football in Cleveland. Matthew, what's good, dog? What's good, Brody? I don't know how I pulled this off, but Mostert in Hollywood for Olave. Great job. Good job. This is capitalizing on the value. Do I trade Brian and Bourne for Kenneth Walker? Yes. Brian Robinson and Kendrick Bourne for Walker. Good job. Would you trade Jacobs and Dotson to go get Mixon? No, that's about similar value to me. Mixon and Jacobs are similar value. I got Lamar over Fields, Waddle over Olave. I missed it, but see, you got to be watching the show. You can't just be dipping and coming back. No, I know you got lives too. I got a live too. I'm going to get to it here in about 15 minutes. So I'm trying to get through as many as I can. I almost caught up to the 4 o'clock hour where I talked about that, or 7 o'clock hour. I missed it, but should I trade CD for Henry? It's a clean swap, right? I'd rather have CD, but if you need a running back, I get overpaying for a running back. I'd rather just keep CD with your situation, what it looks like, with Kyron and Brees. James Cook's a solid player. Looking to add more depth to the Pollard and Gibbs. Could I get anything for Pickens? I kind of like Pickens as a wide receiver 3, so if you can sell him for the high, do it, but I like Pickens as a wide receiver 3. I think he has upside. Took your advice and got A.J. Brown. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Hopefully it works out for you. Got offered Waller for DJ Moore. I'd rather have Waller out. The value-wise, I'd rather have Waller. I don't think there's a whole lot to it, though. Puka and Henry for Diggs. It's about right. Like I said, that Henry for Diggs thing is kind of, I would rather have Puka's value right now, and I would aim higher than that. Like with Puka in like a lesser tier player for Henry. Otherwise, you're trading Puka kind of at his real value, not market value. Like you could insert any wide receiver 3 with Derrick Henry and go get Diggs. Aim higher. Should I trade Pat and Drake for Evans? I've answered that one. Buy Waller. There he is. Dub, what's good, bro? Yo, me and Dub. Y'all don't follow Dub, man. Dub is my dog, bro. Buy Waller. Why are you buying Waller, Dub? Why are you buying Waller? Dub's the homie. Y'all gotta follow Dub. We're gonna be making content together too. Dub's the homie. We got a whole page out too. Like y'all gonna see a lot from me and Dub here in the very near future, man. Y'all drop Dub a sub. He's part of Players Choice community. You guys have seen his face before. Probably disagreed with some of his takes. It's actually how me and Dub, he's been on the channel before too. He was on part of the 24-hour stream. So one of my good friends here in the industry, Dub, man, solid. Y'all drop Dub a sub. Sub to Dub. He talks about some crazy stuff though. Football, NBA, he's got some good takes. If you guys like my takes, you guys probably won't like his takes. He doesn't have very good takes, but he's a good watch. He's good to poke fun at. My dude Dub, bro. Much love. Cooper in Hollywood for Olave and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Cooper in Hollywood for Olave and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think that's really an upgrade. I would go Amon-Ra. Definitely not Olave. I think Amon-Ra is an upgrade. Olave is kind of a side move. I don't think that's not really an upgrade. Crash. Much love, Crash. Bijan, Gibbs, Olave, Pickens, McLaurin, T-Hawk, Burrow, Joshua Kelly, Gainwell, Cousins, and Romeo Doubs. You got Justin Herbert or Khalil Herbert. Damn it, I wish you would have said that. I'll just get both. I think that's Khalil Herbert because you got Burrow. And then Rashawn Johnson. Yeah, he's at the end of your bench. 0-2 moves, what would you make? At running back, I think you're set. Bijan and Gibbs, I think you're set there. You got Olave, Pickens, McLaurin. You went Olave too early, and sorry if you did that. You went Olave too early. If I were you, I would hold McLaurin, hold Pickens. I would move Olave on the strength of the name, right? Try to sell him as a top 15 wide receiver. I would be looking to go by. I didn't give a whole lot in like the wide receiver 2 range. I'd be looking to go by for Olave, like D-Hop and another player. I'd be looking at Olave for AJ Brown. Go look for AJ Brown right now. Put Olave and Romeo Doubs in a deal and go get AJ Brown. Olave and Doubs for AJ Brown. That's the move I would make if I were you. And it'll help you out in the short term. And then I would bank on like Joshua Kelly, Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson. Pair 2 of those guys up and just go look for like a Miles Sanders. Look for like another flexible running back, right? Somebody that just maybe you can flex. Shit, you might be able to even pull off Joshua Kelly and another player for Najee Harris. Like I've seen the craziest shit for Najee Harris. You might be able to pull something off like that. Or maybe it's Najee Harris for Burrow and Kelly. Like, and then maybe you're picking up a Jordan, like depending on who's available in your 1 QB leagues, maybe you're picking up a Jordan Love, Geno Smith, Jared Goff. I don't know who's available on your waivers, but like 0-2, it's not a panic move. That's a move I think you can find another, like especially if Burrow's out this week. I'd be making that move. Like, I'd be aggressive in finding another, if you have a flex. If not, just go get AJ Brown and leave the rest alone. Hopefully that's win advice. W advice. Hopefully, if I didn't answer your question, I at least somewhat answered it in another person's question. The chat went crazy today, bro. Chat went crazy. Y'all went fucking crazy today. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all went crazy today. Buy Brian Robinson. Duh. We ain't buying Brian Robinson, bro. That's a fade. Bro. Is Zach Moss a sell high or will he be a good starter? He'll be a good starter until Jonathan Taylor comes back. So he's a sell high. So even when Jonathan Taylor gets back, he'll be in the mix, right? He'll be in the mix, but he's definitely a sell high. Zach Moss is a sell high. Bennett, appreciate you, dog. Hopefully you weren't trying to answer a question like my guy who didn't answer. If you're trying, like I said, if you guys are trying to ask a question, make sure you get it. There's like the super chat, and then you have to put the actual comment in there. Steven, my guy, is Chase Reynolds a good you mean Cam Reynolds? Cam Reynolds for Detroit? Is he a good pickup off waivers? I don't really think so. Unless you're in a 14, 16-man league, go ahead. He's had some strong days before, and I know they want to run 2 backs. David Montgomery might be back here in the next few weeks. For now, it's a decent pickup in 14, 16-man leagues, but I'm not really interested. Not going to be lied to you. And then Khalil Herbert as a starter, I don't like him as a starter. I think he starts to lose work here very soon. Appreciate all the mods that have been helping out in the chat. Cade, Ryan, Trey helps out a lot. Like everybody who's been helping out in the chat. Guys, listen to these guys. You guys can drop them follows too. Subs. They're helpful people. They've been rocking with me for a while. So a lot of times they give out really good advice. All right, I promised. So I promised. So I'm gonna continue. Trying to make a trade with Mostert, one Sutton, McLaurin. Who do you think I should target? My RBs or Jacobs, Bijan? Pair up Mostert. Yeah. Pair up Mostert with Sutton. We saw Mostert and somebody go for Olave. I think that's a good target too. Maybe like a Ridley or Olave, somebody that had a down week. JT, Dalton Kincaid, and Michael Pittman for Gibbs. No. That's way too heavy. Justin took advice, got Jamar for Puka and D-Hop. Oh, yeah, we answered that one. I know you're feeling good, dog. Trade Bijan, James Cook, Judy, and Laporta for Pollard, Ridley, Pickens. No. You should just keep Bijan. Keep Bijan, bro. Percentage of fab for Ford, it's 20%. Mike, appreciate you, dog. Thank you. I'm gonna have fun on Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow. And what I'll do is I just won't be live. I'm gonna try to pre-record. So I know pre-recorded stuff doesn't go too well, but I'm gonna try to pre-record Thursday night props. I'm gonna look at props. So it'll be Wednesday night prop stuff, but it'll be props for Thursday. I'll do Friday. I'm gonna do props for the weekend. And then on Saturday, I'll do a mailbag. So whatever questions I have, trade questions that I haven't answered on like YouTube and stuff, I'm going to try to answer like a mailbag episode on Saturday. Sunday morning, I'll be back live. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it'll be pre-recorded, but there will be content out. Y'all can show love to those ones too. Answer that one. Jarrell is perfect. We forgot. Jarrell is perfect, right? Sell me. Oh, Dub. I wish I'd have got on here with you, Brad. I wish I'd have got on here with you. Dub, you my dog. You my dog. Okay, here we go. No disrespect. I did not mean I got you. My bad, Jarrell. Jarrell probably exited the chat and left the stream. My bad, Jarrell. My bad. Hopefully you're still watching, Jarrell. I'm still rocking with you. Either way, even if you thought I was trash, I don't care. I still rock with you. But I am going to talk. If you challenge me, I am going to talk my talk. It's all love, though. Me and Dub, we go back and forth all the time. And it's all love at the end of the day. It's fantasy football, bro. It's football talk. Like, I'm gonna be wrong on some stuff. I just think I know a hell of a lot. That's all. And I'll put it up against. I'm educated. Just put it that way. Educated. I ain't perfect. I'm educated. So I just it's like when you go to a table full of poker players, right? There's a lot of really good poker players that believe in themselves. Do they win every time? No. But like Phil Hellmuth, Phil Ivey, Johnny Chan, like all those guys are elite. I put myself at that top poker table. That's what I'm saying. Flex PBR. Any moves to make? T-Law, Derrick Henry, Swift, Brees, Chase Olave, Ingram, Pickens, London, Judy, Algier, Tutu. I would be looking to move Algier and Ingram for a better tight end. Go get George Kittle with Algier and Ingram if you can. You need another receiver 3. I like London and Judy. After London's week, I'd move like London too. Like London with Algier and try to tier up at wide receiver. I think those are moves you should be making right now. Everything else looks okay. This looks like a 12-team league, especially if you got 2 flexes. Like you need to get a little bit stronger at tight end or flex. And I think you can move Ingram right now at a pretty good price. So good job. You're probably a 2-0 right now. Your team looked good. Team looked good. Talk, yo, talk. I'm always going to talk my talk, baby. Thank you, John. John in the chat, giving out wins, baby. Giving out wins. Do I worry on Kittle Deshaun? Talked about that one. Your take on Kamara after he comes back? Kamara's elite. Elite. Thoughts on Mike Evans? Is he worth holding to? Absolutely. Should I trade Jamar Chase and Mostert for Diggs and PBR? No, this is hustling backwards. Trade Brees Hall and Pickens for Cooper Kupp? Yes, I would trade Brees Hall. That's good value. I would do it, though. My immediate thought is yes. If you're going to cry about it later and be like, oh, no, Cooper Kupp didn't come back all year. He's out for the year. Don't do this deal. But if you're the type of player like me, I'm like, man, I got immense upside. I have other stacked positions. Cooper Kupp, if he comes back, helps me win my league. That's how I think about a Cooper Kupp deal. When I'm trading for Cooper Kupp, I'm not thinking about, man, if he doesn't come back, I lost this trade. That's not how I think about deals like this. I think about this. If Cooper Kupp comes back week 5, week 8, and I'm in the fantasy playoffs, and Cooper Kupp's my wide receiver 3 and wide receiver 4, dropping 20 to 25 a game, I won the league. I'm trying to win the league. If Pickens and Brees Hall are in my lineup week 4, both of them could have drop days. Like both of them could have 5-point days. Cooper Kupp, when he comes back, is elite as it comes. I'm trading both of those guys for Cooper Kupp. Both of them. Brees is elite. Brees has elite ceiling. So that's the only thing is I'm like, the ceiling with Brees can pan out. But to get Cooper Kupp, I would give up both of those players. Both of them. Jacob, I see you. Brian Robinson and Tank Dell for Najee. Instantly, bro. Get Najee. Instantly get Najee. That's what I'm talking about right there, too. Like Najee, the first year in the league was top 3 running back. Second year in the league, he was top 14 running back. Do you think Brian Robinson's a top 14 running back this year? That's the floor for Najee. I don't care what he looks like this year so far in 2 games. That's Najee's floor. We're talking about even more ceiling with the top 3 ceiling. Do you think Brian Robinson's top 14? If the answer to your question is no, get that deal done for Najee. Tank Dell might be on waivers in 3 weeks. That's the reality of fantasy football. Judy Pierce Hill for Nico Collins and K9. Judy Pierce Hill for Nico Collins and K9. Judy Pierce. I'd rather have K9, or actually I'd rather have Judy out of all these pieces than K9. Like K9 and Judy. And then Nico Collins is probably a piece I like more out of Hill and Pierce, but this is kind of a wash deal in my opinion. You're overpaying for the mid-tier Nico Collins. I don't love this deal. I don't love either side of this deal, to be honest with you. I'd probably rather have the Judy and Pierce side because I think I can get more from Pierce. All right, y'all. I promised y'all another hour. It's been another hour for the 74 of you guys, or 74 of you guys have been rocking with me. At least I see it here on my screen. 74 of you guys have been rocking with me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Like I said, I've been trying to get to as many questions that I can this stream, and it's not this stream, but this year it's been tougher for me. So I want to answer as many questions as I can. I can't possibly get to them all. If you guys get here early, there's a stronger chance I'll get to your question. Not guaranteed. And yes, if you drop it in the chat of a YouTube video, I'll try to get it there. All right. Start and sit tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. Full episode. Won't be able to get into a whole bunch of questions, but I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow's episode. Peace out.